بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear viewers in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this program of the parables of Al-Quran, last time we have taken a parable from Surah An-Nahl. Now that ayah which we are going to take today, that is ayah number 60, which is just setting a principle about attributing any similitude to Allah. Now let us take first the ayah itself, ayah number 60 of Surah An-Nahl, which is surah number 16. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم للذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة مثل السوء ولله المثل الأعلى وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. To those who believe not in the hereafter applies the similitude of evil. To Allah applies the highest similitude, for He is the exalted in power, full of wisdom. What is the principle which is laid down here? That is, the non-believers, when they come to describe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they describe Him in a very mean way. Even when they try to make a similitude or parable, that may be the worst type of parable about Allah. And when they come to themselves, they try to find out very good parables and examples for them. Now, first of all, nothing is similar to Allah. That is the first principle. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. And to understand this point, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, for Allah belongs the highest similitude, the highest type of example. To understand this subject, let us take the three subjects which are mentioned before it, right from ayah number 51. وَقَالَ اللَّهُ لَا تَتَّخِذُوا إِلَٰهَيْنِ اثْنَيْنِ إِنَّمَا هُوَ إِلَٰهٌ وَاحِدٌ فَإِيَّايَ فَارْهَبُونَ. That is about the belief of the non-believers. Some of them who believed that gods are two. As you know that people got different types of belief. There are people who believed in so many gods which can't be counted. And there are people who said, who believed in Trinity, three gods. And there were people who said, gods are two, one for light, one for darkness. So in this way, they got the duality in the Godhead. Here, the refutation comes. Don't say that there are two gods. God is just one. And to Him, you must be very sincere in your devotion and in your prayers. That is the subject matter which is explained later. وَلَهُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلَهُ الدِّينُ وَاصِبًا أَفَغَيْرَ اللَّهِ تَتَّقُونَ. To Him belongs what is in the heaven and the earth. And the total obedience sincerely is for Him. There is no obedience to anyone else, just for Allah. أَفَغَيْرَ اللَّهِ تَتَّقُونَ. Do you fear someone else other than Allah? وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ ثُمَّ إِذَا مَسَّكُمُ الضُّرُّ فَإِلَيْهِ تَجْأَرُونَ. Whatever blessing you got, whatever bounties you got, it is coming from Allah. But when something harm touches you, only and only at that time you go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is again the nature of the human beings. The people of Arabia, they used to believe in Allah and also in so many gods. And they used to call them, invoke them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them that when you are in real distress, at that time you forgot all other gods and you just say, Ya Allah, oh Allah, help us. So it means in your nature, you got the concept of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but this nature is covered by darkness of shirk. ثُمَّ إِذَا كَشَفَ الضُّرَّ عَنْكُمْ إِذَا فَرِيقٌ مِّنْكُمْ بِرَبِّهِمْ يُشْرِكُونَ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listens to your cries and He removes that adversity from you, that trouble in which you find yourself. He removes it from you. Once again, you come back to your old practices of shirk and you just forgot Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the end, you start doing ingratitude or showing ingratitude to Him. لِيَكْفُرُوا بِمَا آتَيْنَاهُمْ فَتَمَتَّعُوا فَسَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. So that these people, in the end, they end up with kufr, with unthankfulness. So this is why Allah's warning comes, فَتَمَتَّعُوا. Just enjoy a few days of this life. فَسَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. You are going to know exactly what is going to happen to you. So that was the first point which is discussed here, that people, they are not sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second thing which is mentioned here, which is verse number 56, وَيَجْعَلُونَ لِمَا لَا يَعْلَمُونَ نَصِيبًا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ تَاللَّهِ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ عَمَّا كُنْتُمْ تَفْتَرُونَ. And they declare a portion of what we have given them for things they don't know. By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you are going to be questioned about all your allegations, all things of which we have accused Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is meant by that? And that has been explained in the ayah of Surah Al-An'am, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, وَيَجْعَلُونَ لِمَا لَا يَعْلَمُونَ نَصِيبًا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ. What is that in the ayah of Surah Al-An'am? هَذَا لِلَّهِ بِزَعْمِهِمْ وَهَذَا لِشُرَكَائِنَا فَمَا كَانَ لِشُرَكَائِهِمْ فَلَا يَصِلُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَمَا كَانَ لِلَّهِ فَهُوَ يَصِلُ إِلَى شُرَكَائِهِمْ. Yani it is very amazing for them that out of the product of their fields, out of the product of their cattle, they used to have a portion taken out of it, and they say this portion is for our gods. And a very small and tiny portion, they say it is for Allah. And even then, yani what a great mockery what they have been doing, that whatever they have taken for Allah, even then they got some share of their own with it. And they take it and then they exhaust it, they spend it. And whatever is meant for their gods, nobody is going to touch that share at all. Yani their belief in shirk is so great that they want to please their gods, but not to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Actually, they should remember that whatever sustenance food they are getting, it is getting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are getting it from Allah, so why should they take some portion out of their product and give it to their gods? That is unreasonable, illogical. It can't be understood at all. So that was the second thing which is mentioned here. And then the third thing which they have done, وَيَجْعَلُونَ لِلَّهِ الْبَنَاتِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَلَهُمْ مَا يَشْتَهُونَ. And they assign daughters for Allah, glory be to Him, and for themselves sons, the issue they desire. وَيَجْعَلُونَ لِلَّهِ الْبَنَاتِ. They used to believe that the angels are the daughters of Allah. So, as it is explained in the other ayats of Al-Quran, they attribute daughters to Allah, but for themselves they always like sons, not daughters. So the point what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to emphasize here, that even when you wanted to attribute something to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you attributed things which you don't like yourself. Because in that Arabian community, in those days, they used to like to have more and more sons, because with sons you got more warriors in your tribe. They are the helping hand for you. And if someone got a daughter, it is always a source of shame for them, because the daughter is going to be wed to someone else. It is not going to remain with you. It is not a helping hand for you. This is why they hated the daughters to such an extent that in some tribes, in some places, whenever a daughter is born to a person, he used to bury that daughter in the sand alive. First, when they got the news of the birth of a daughter, it is not pleasing for them, as if a bad news has come to them. And this has been explained in the following ayah. وَإِذَا بُشِّرَ أَحَدُهُمْ بِالْأُنْثَى ظَلَّ وَجْهُهُ مُسْوَدًّا وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. When news is brought to one of them of the birth of a female child, his face darkens and he is filled with inward grief. يَتَوَارَى مِنَ الْقَوْمِ مِنْ سُوءِ مَا بُشِّرَ بِهِ أَيُمْسِكُهُ عَلَى هُونٍ أَمْ يَدُسُّهُ فِي التُّرَابِ أَلَا سَاءَ مَا يَحْكُمُونَ. With shame does he hide himself from the people because of the bad news he has had? Shall he retain it on contempt or bury it in the dust? Ah, what evil choice do they decide on? So that is the three things which are mentioned before this ayah. That why do you attribute something bad to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you for yourself always like something good for yourself? And with this note we come to the end of this program. Sallallahu ta'ala ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.